in the moment for 5 years, still in college. I don't even learn anything there. Over time, I enlist in Taiwan Air Force. At the moment, I use my fingerprint. It cost me only $20,000. If I accidentally pass away serving my country, only $20,000.
Baccarat Kingmaker Seminar.
I use my fingerprint was I purchased.
We have to show the respect
From Betty.
for Doctor Eliot Jacobson.
I said, not my first time, no big deal.
Copyrights and patents.
I have no idea.
So I would highly recommend you buy $16 for this book. This book costs you $777. It's top secret with copyrights and patents. Our principal is 10,000. Principal is 10,000. So I'm going to show you how to make $3,000.
It cost me like around $690 for that position. So 3 of us, my family cost me $2,000.
Got it.
That's not cheap. Almost 3 fingerprints. Not just one. Thanks. So Marty, is that okay? You do the battery first, or you can power?
Sure.
Because I don't want to start the video.
Sure. No problem. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters, and particularly Jeff. Thank you so much for such an interesting topic. I was so curious when you sent out the email with your title to figure out how you were going to value fingerprints. And I think it's really creative. And what it also reminds me of is this idea that Benson actually introduced at the beginning of reminiscing on your past and the things that you have in your memories that make you happy, and maybe some things that you question later on. The way that you set up your speech to talk about those 3 instances where you used your fingerprints and how much of a commitment the usage of your fingerprints meant, whether it was 10 fingerprints or 1 fingerprint made the difference. I think that that's very unique because I personally haven't encountered any situations except trying to get into my cell phone that require my fingerprints. There have been instances when I worked for the government and I had to have all of my fingerprints taken, but there was no cost for me except, of course, now if I commit a crime in the future, they'll be able to figure out that it was me. But I think what's unique about your talk is that you were just having a conversation with us. And this technique that you use, you may not be aware, is called slice of life, where you are literally taking a section of your life and just talking to us about it. And what it does is it connects you to us because then we try to think about how our lives resemble what you're discussing. I literally was thinking about my fingers and where I had to get my fingerprints and what might be the consequence of having done that. And I know that if someone gets a hold of my thumb, they'll be able to get into my phone and then they'll know all of my secrets. Now, you didn't mention the phone, but you did talk about the fact that you bought a life insurance policy for Betty, and you don't know how much that's worth. And I'm glad that you don't know yet, because ultimately the way you find out, Jeff, is to die. So you might never know the value of that particular fingerprint. An observation that I made is that you today sat still. You didn't do a lot of moving like you normally do. And I kind of missed it because it makes it interesting to watch you when you're moving. I did think it was quite neat to see you using your phone as a reference as you were doing a speech. in a virtual environment, we don't always see the tools that people are using, but it's a good reminder that as speakers, we can use tools to help us as we're presenting. I also would have liked you to use more vocal variety because there were some instances where you could have been much louder than you were. And there were some times when you were talking about something that was pretty funny, like when your sister said, you should say that you have 12 people in your family, and then your brother
Got
said,
it.
"Oh, you should say there's only one because you're the youngest and you're the only one at home." Just thinking about those exchanges with your siblings puts a smile on my face. So it would have been nice if you had done that as well. But let me tell you, dude, for as many times as I've listened to you speak, you are constantly surprising me with your content. You're not talking about rocket science every time. You're not talking about things that are going to lead to world peace. You're not even divulging secrets about yourself. You're really just saying, I'm Jeff, this is who I am, and this is how I come to be where I am. And I'm sharing that with you. And I don't know about anyone else in the club, but when I listen to a speech and it makes me think about my own life and circumstance and stage where I am, I appreciate that because I don't have many chances to do that. So I thank you for keeping us entertained, keeping us engaged,
Got it.
keeping us edified with the content of your speech. We will always be thinking, what is the value of
See,
our faith?
I told you we're going to make
Toastmaster.
3,000. Now we make $3,006.50. This is all based on Eliot Jacobson page.
Good afternoon, fellow toastmasters. We have a word of the day, or we can say
I picked the word of delightful if you want to use that in the video. Delightful because the reason I went because I delight somehow.
okay. I'm the table party master, so you guys need to just tell me. So let me ask Marty first. Marty,
This is the most critical, important
Day? How do you
page.
like? What do you do different? Did you cook turkey?
213.
Thank you for asking me that question, Betty. My Thanksgiving Day was the least stressful Thanksgiving that I've had probably in the last 10 years. Because my family and I decided that we would all make different parts of the meal and bring them together to a central location and we would dine together. So I didn't have to make a turkey and corn and cornbread and cranberry sauce, all of the things that you normally have to do where you might spend an entire day cooking. I was responsible for
Hallelujah.
macaroni and cheese.
Copyright
And I
issue.
brought those to my daughter's house and one of my
版权
daughters
所
made
有，
chicken and ham.
请
My
勿
son made
盗用。
asparagus and he bought pumpkin pie. And then the third child provided
Hallelujah.
drinks. I had no
Amen.
idea what talent she had for mixing